Good morning. Next instalment of the Artist Trading Card Workshop, which is Bernie Berlin's book. I always put it in the title anyway. Now, I'm not filled with confidence on this one at all. So, yeah, it's all about dimension, and I haven't got one of these melt pots, but I'll talk about that in a second. So if you love secret buried treasure, this is the process for you. For the card demonstrated here, I went a step further and cast a resin face from the same material used to make the card, but you can have just as much fun without the extra effort. The back of the cooled card is stamped for even more dimension, and just about anything can be encrusted in the hot resin. And she calls it resin, it's not, it's actually the ultra thick embossing powder melted basically. But anyway, so yeah, so you can encase stuff in the hot resin provided it will not melt or run. Fibres, paper, charms, they're all okay. So think metal. I am going to try sequins. I don't know if they're plastic. I don't know. Yeah, anyway, we're going to give it a go. If they melt, that's fine. So for this one, you need the ultra thick embossing powder. Again, I don't have it. I'm just going to use my ordinary stuff. A hot pot. Again, I don't have one. So I'm going to give it a bash with my wax melt thing. I just no idea if it's going to work. I haven't tried it. I haven't pre-tried. So let's do that together. A silicone mould if you want to do a 3D face, which is what she's got down here. Scissors, mica. I haven't got any mica. Metal repair tape. Now that is for, so the mica is on the bottom here, and the metal repair tape is for making like a well around the mica. So, you know, let's not bother with that. Embossing ink, heat gun, assorted embellishments, baby wipes, I don't know what for, and a rubber stamp. So I'm going to kind of, I was going to say reverse engineer, but there's no engineering. I'm going to do it kind of in reverse. So the first step is that she's melted the ultra thick embossing powder and poured it into a silicone stamp mold, which is this face here. Now what she's done is she's cut the mica into the same shape as a card. Yep, so she's done that, and then she uses the metal tape to form walls around the mica, because obviously the mica is transparent. You could do that with card. I don't know whether it would peel off, that's the only thing. But all it is to create a well for the inclusions to sit into basically. So yeah, so that's that part. If you want to do that, go for it. If you've got a melting pot, go for it. I just don't have this stuff. So she's filled the form that she made with the mica and the silver tape with the ultra thick embossing powder. I'm just paraphrasing here because a lot of this I'm just kind of not going to do. So she's melted it further with the heat gun just to make it spread a bit more, and then she started adding embellishments, and then you put more melted embossing powder on top of your inclusions. I've got a couple of metal things, like I've got a key here, I've got some very thin metal leaves. Okay, so that kind of thing. As I say, I am going to try the sequins, but I don't think they're going to work. Yeah, so once she's set she's got like a little padlock and stuff in here. Once that's set in the resin or the UT, she's then put the face on, and then yeah, so then she peeled the cooled card out of the mould, and then ta-da, clean off all the finished card with a baby wipe. I don't understand that bit. Whether she's actually got card on the back, it doesn't actually say. Because it's, no, she's set, oh, I don't know though. Create card from mica. Yeah, so she's actually made her card from the mica so that it's transparent. And then she's stamped on the back of the mica and the transparent ultra thick embossing powder. See, there's the rubber stamp at the back there. So she's made a transparent one. Yeah, I'm not going to do that. So this is my version, okay, just so that you can get in the melted part basically. So what I've done is I've got 3 of my old business cards. I thought I might as well use them for this. So I've cut some, I don't know what you're going to call them, frames, I suppose. They're treble thick. It's out of Amazon packaging. So I've stuck them together. I did it yesterday so that they'd have plenty of time to stick. And then I'm going to stick one on here. So that's going to create my, that's my silver tape. And then that's going to be my resin block. I don't know whether it's going to hold it. That's my only worry. I think it's going to leach out through the cardboard. I don't know. I'm going to stick this one now that you're with me, because I want to give this glue. Now I'm going to make sure that I've got a perfect seal all the way round the cardboard cutout, and a good squidge so that it squidges out, hopefully. I'm hoping that will stop the ink, embossing powder. If it melts, it might not even melt on this thing. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just going to play. So I'm going to put that there with one of my blocks on top. I've done this one yesterday because I really wanted to make sure it's cut, that it was stuck. Now this is mount board. The black on top is mount board, and my Sizzix just wouldn't cut through. Well, it very barely cut through it. So what I did was I finished it off with a knife. My only worry is that this cardboard is going to soak up the embossing powder. So what I'm going to do is run some glue on the inside edge there to see if that will form a barrier of sorts. I don't know. I am totally winging it now, peeps. So if you have the other equipment like she said about, go for it. I do not. And the other thing I want to do is add some, because obviously I'm not doing the transparent bit like she did. So I might want to add some colour in the background here, which I think I will do. I don't know, I think this is going to be an absolute dog's dinner, but we'll find out. And then I did cut another, in fact this was the waste from when I cut that one. So I thought, you know, I'm going to use it. It's a wonky frame and that's fine. As you can see, it was Amazon packaging. Again, I'm going to make sure that this is good and sealed with no gaps. I haven't put glue on the inside there. I don't know. This might not work. We might have to call this one a day. But again, I'm going to let that sit back there with a block on top just to get it to really push down. And hopefully, because this glue dries really quickly, it will be fine. We'll find out in a minute. So, I'm curious about the melting bit. So let's see if we can get this started, shall we? Because it could be a non-starter straight away. I mean, the only other thing is, I guess you could just tip embossing powder in there and just keep the heat gun on it. My only worry is, would your cardboard get super hot? I don't know. We'll have to see how this goes first of all. Right, let me... if you haven't got one of these, but you have got a tea light, what you could do, because these are solid on the bottom, you could take the candle out and put your embossing powder in there and then hit it with a heat gun. Or melt it on the stove. You can actually melt embossing powder on your cooker, basically. So I'll probably speed this bit up because I don't know how long it's going to take even. So I'm going to start with the start. Oh, I want to put some colour in, don't I? Let me shove that over there for a second. It's all a bit stressful, this one. I was reading it yesterday and I thought, I'm not going to be able to do this. How the heck am I going to be able to do this? So I thought, well, you know, nothing ventured, nothing gained. Just going to put a little bit of colour in the back there. Pen will do. This might run. I just don't know. It's funny. Well, it's interesting. I find it interesting when you're playing with all this mixed media stuff, how they interact with each other. I love it. I love mixing and making a mess, and as you probably know. Right, that'll do. I'm not looking for anything amazingly exciting here. If it works, I'm going to be very happy. So let me make sure you can see. You can. Right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the little sparkles in now. This could go horrendously wrong because, as I say, I don't know if these are going to melt or whether they're going to set. I'm not going to worry about pattern as such because it's all going to move. I would like some of the little ditty ones from the bottom. It's got a load of little deals. Right, that'll do. Let's not go mad. Yeah, it's going to get more complicated as we go through. I'm gonna double check. We'll have a look through to next week and see what next week's is all about. I think it's more about fabric next week, but we'll have a look at the end. Okay, remind me, because you know what I'm like. Right, okay, so my shape is ready. Are you a bit too far away? Let me see if I can zoom you in. I don't want to bring the camera down any lower because whoa, sorry, hold tight. No, back. Back. Sorry guys if that's just made you go absolutely sorry. Oh, good grief, Susan, you're so good at this. Oh, it's melting. So what I'm going to do is potentially fill that, and let's see how long it takes to melt. Yeah, so as I say, it's all very well on some of these things, you know, it's like, oh, get this, get that, get the other, but if you're never going to do this again, what's the point? You know, there's no point, because I think those melting pots were about £20 or something stupid like that, you know. So, right, it's 11:29. I'm going to pause you while this melts and I'll let you know exactly how long it takes. I'll be back in a bit. Right, it's 11:32, so that actually only took 3 minutes, and I think you can see it is melted. It's quite runny, so I don't know if that's going to be enough to fill this, but I'm going to make it do. So let's tip it in and see what happens. Just want to make sure it's super runny. This is the clear one with sparkle in, so okay. What I might have to do is get the heat gun on it just to get it to move. Just remelt that bit. It's not a very big spoon, this one. My other one's full of wax, so yeah, see, it sets so quickly. She's got a big blob there now. Right, I'm definitely going to get the heat gun on it. So, you going to come off there? No. What I might do with the others is actually use the heat gun. Just pile the embossing powder in and just hit it with the heat gun. Because this is not... I don't think it's getting hot enough. Mind you, the candle's nearly out. It doesn't help. Oh, good grief. I've got another one. Stay. You're not going to. Okay. Yeah, I think we're just going to have a bit of patience with this one. Right, I'm going to try the just the heat gun. Probably going to get a bit of smoke now from the candle. Right, I'll speed up what I can. Go away, candle. Yowza, that's warm. Trick is, I don't want to burn the embossing powder. Cloth. Okay, that's kind of working. Burning my finger. Playing around with this one, folks. I mean, you know, whatever you've got, really. Just want to get that last little star out of there. Come on, there you come. Yeah, one more. Right, okay, that's those out. Put that somewhere so it doesn't burn me. Get off, right. Trying to do it so you can see and not burn myself at the same time. Big lump there. Okay, well, while that's like that, what I'm going to do is see if it's more successful just by melting it into the aperture itself. Hold on. So I'm just grabbing a bit of paper. My hands will work. Cute. Oh. I'll find a bit that flipping it, that's all. Yowza. Use the back end of my tweezers. Look, last week's was a disaster. I can't have another disaster. Well, I don't know, probably. This mount board was about 3mm thick, so this is rather a lot I'm putting in here, but it is a deep aperture, so I say the Sizzix machine just went, no, I don't think I'm going to cut that for you. I eventually persuaded it to. Okay, so again, I'll time it. So it's 11:39. Right, hold on. So it's 11:40 by the time we're finished. Make sure you're on a heat-proof surface before you start this. Right, so I'm going to say 11:39. So I'll speed up, and then you'll know exactly how long it takes. Right, it's 11:41, so just 2 minutes with the heat gun. I feel that's much safer. I don't feel like I'm at... did spill out there, unfortunately. No, don't start poking around with it, Susan. Right, okay, so it will heat with the melt with the heat gun, and it has gone clear. It's a bit warm, because obviously you can see the stars in there. I've got a couple of gaps, but do you know what? I'm not going to worry too much. I'm kind of liking that anyway. It did spill outside. Whether I can scrape that off when it's really cold, I don't know. It's a bit warm. So that's that one. Okay, I'm considering that a success. So I don't know if you saw, what I did was I held it up quite high. I hope it didn't make the camera blurry, because it was trying to blow the embossing powder everywhere. So I held it up high and then came down. Once I started to see the top starting to melt, I then came down lower, and that but yeah, you get the nice, you know, glossy effect there. So should we do the others? Right, everything's very hot here at the moment. Okay, so for this one I want to do some stamping in the background, but I've got to I'll put I thought I'd put the metal key in there. So Let's leave that there. I want to do some stamping and a bit of colouring. I'm probably going to put you on a bit of fast forward now, because you can see the method that I'm going for. Yeah, and but I will pause you while I drink my tea. I'll be back in 2 seconds. Right, I have consumed my cup of tea. You'll be very glad to know. Right, I'm going to stamp some of these. I mean, in hindsight, I should have stamped the background before I stuck my frame on there, but too late. The other side is it's even busier, that side. I'm trying to get a plainer side. Just grab another bit of paper. Right, let's get a clean bit, and then you'll be able to see, hopefully, much better. Okay, are you in shot? Yes, you are. Right. Okay, so the key is going to go on, so that's fine. So what sort of background do I want to do? I don't know. I think I might go neon again. Let's do, what am I doing there? Yellow. Let's do pink. So I've now got a very sparkly desk, but never mind. So I think this one kind of worked, but it has shot it everywhere. I'm not going to touch it with my hands because it's going to be red hot. But as you can see, I've got it everywhere. But never mind, it has set. It didn't sink into the cardboard. That was my worry, that it would all just sink straight into the cardboard, but it hasn't done that. Right. Oh my goodness me. How much stuff have I got all over me and everywhere? Right, okay, cool. Right, last one. Stay with me. Okay, so this is this weird, and let me get rid of that bit. Let's put that up there to cool down. I'll give you a close-up of everything, of course. And just let me get that book there, so I'm going to forget to run through what next week's is, because I know what I'm like. Right, okay, so for this one I'm going to do a little bee. Am I? Yes. What else was it? Oh, leaves, that was it. Yeah, so I've got 3 leaves to put in there, so I thought maybe the bee and maybe some honeycomb. Got to squish them in because, like I say, hindsight, wonderful thing. Do your stamping before you. I don't think you're going to fit in there, are you? Oh yeah, it will. Yeah, do your stamping before you put your frames on. So it's quite a process, this one, but I'm kind of liking that key. As I say, I will show you close up. I don't mind that the embossing powder came out slightly. Okay, nice. I can't remember what this set from. Oh, okay, you know, yeah. Like that one, and then just a bit of honeycomb, I think. Yeah, that coming onto the frame. Cool. I think I will do some numbers. I've got to go, yeah. Some different ones. These are sets that I got from China, I would imagine. Oh, it's like I can do at times, honestly. Let's see what else it's got in there. It's a bit of lettering. I'll do. I'm not bothered with any colour. Let's get this done. Right. What am I? Pink. All the colours would be like that. Or acrylic. Is there opaque? I'm trying to think what I've got. I could just tip in there. That might hold it. Because that did work well with that felt tip behind it. Let's just colour in a bit, I think. We'll have a neon bee, okay? It'll be fine. That ink is still quite wet, so maybe we'll just do a little bit of colour in there. Right. Okay. Kind of lost my bee a bit, but that's okay. Right, I'm going to give this all 5 minutes to cool down and then tidy up a bit. We'll do a bit more decoration and then, yeah, I'll be back with you in a sec. Right, we're all cool, we're all clean. I've wiped up every single bit of that blinking embossing powder that went everywhere. So just going to do a bit of titivating now. So, yeah, it works with the heat gun. I don't know if you can see that one. Yeah, see, it's very glassy. I placed those wrong, but never mind, doesn't matter. I tried it. I think I'm going to leave that one as is. Yeah, it didn't, as I say, the thing that I was, well, I'm not worried, I was going to say worried, but the thing that concerned me was that it would have just sunk straight into the cardboard because it was naked cardboard. I did put a bit of glue on there, but it kind of behaved itself. I did manage to get the embossing powder right on the outside here, but again, I don't dislike it. and I managed to get it all down there, as you can see, but that's fine. It's really nice and glassy, and it's holding the key in, which is half the point. This one needs some work. So yeah, using the wax melt thing, I think it would have worked. The trouble is it solidified really quickly, so perhaps the key is to go in with the heat gun. I say you can melt it if you've got a little old pot that you don't use anymore for anything else. You could just use that as a sort of like a sacrificial pot, and then you could do the whole melting, in a big pot sort of thing. That's if you really, really want to get into this. Again, I think it'd make cracking jewellery, wouldn't it? I'm just going to do a scruffy outline. And then maybe some little stars here. I wish I could do the 5-sided one. I can't. I've tried. It looked horrendous. Okay, I'm calling that a success. I'm very pleased with those. They actually work better than I thought they would. So, have a go. See what you can do. Yeah, it's all good fun. Right, oh, let's, I nearly did it, didn't I? I nearly said goodbye, and actually, I'm going to go through next week's, because I think it's a fabric one next week. Yeah, yeah, as I say, if you've got the melting pot, which basically keeps it at a constant temperature, and then you pour it in, it looks very messy. Mind you, this was bad enough, but yeah, so you can do all sorts with it. Yeah, anyway, so we're on to fabrics next week. So what we need is carbon paper, muslin, an image to trace, black and white works best, stylus, don't know what you want a stylus for. Oh, okay, with a pencil or a stylus, so that's just for tracing the design. Copic markers, which are alcohol markers, aren't they? Fabric pastels, or if you've got Inktense pencils, I might use those on mine. And basically what we're going to do is you're going to pick a design, trace it, use carbon paper to transfer it, and then go over the lines with a Copic marker, because that won't I can't remember what was they won't disappear, they won't be affected by anything else you put on them. I think I'm just going to use my alcohol marker, that's all I've got. Then colour it in with your pastels, heat set the thing, and basically we're just making a fabric ATC. So that could be fun actually. So grab yourself some images, and if you've got a bit of carbon paper, I mean, if you've got a light box, you can trace it through the other side up, so yeah. And I think it uses yeah, fusible webbing, felt and scissors it says here as well. So the webbing is to put on the back of the fabric when we're finished with it. So just trying to see which point you put it's just to fuse it to the card, I would imagine. Yeah, there we are. So once you've done your backgrounds and everything, you can add details with markers. Are you even seeing this? No. And then oh, you fuse the muslin to the felt. Oh, okay, so there are felt ones. They're felt ATCs. There's no reason why you can't transfer it to card. You don't have to use felt on the background. I've used the what's it called, heat and bond, and it adheres to card, no problem at all. But anyway, we'll play with that next week. So yeah, get yourself some black and white images. You can see the kind of inspirations here. Yeah, all right, I'll see you next week. Like I say, I'm calling that a success. I will do a close-up photo for you all, and there. See you next week. Bye.